All right, guys. So today I'm just doing a follow-up on a video I put up here yesterday. It was answering a question of how do you create custom post types where you create your content using bricks and then render that into a single post template. So the example we gave is where we've got a section template here at the top, a section template at the bottom, and we've got our post content in the middle here, which was rendered with bricks, not with Gutenberg. That was the tutorial I put up yesterday on how to do that. A question came out of that as to how can we then use dynamic data from that post in our calls to action or any other templates that we have on that single template. So again, this top section is a separate section template. So what I want to do is show you how this actually works. And the interesting thing is that it's not really a question of bricks, it's a question of WordPress, and it's about context. And what I'm looking at the moment is a single post for this post here called Service C. So at the moment, our current post is this post here. So if we query any dynamic data for the current post, the context is that post there. Now, I hope that makes sense to you, and I'll show you what that means as I work through this. So if we go back a step here, I've got a page here, which is just a query loop on those same services where I'm displaying some custom data in that loop. If we look at that loop there, I'm just going to edit that with bricks. So I've got a standard block, which is a grid, set to a grid. I've got a block here, which I've called service, which has got a query loop on it. And the query is just our service post type. Okay, inside that I've got a basic text and a button. The basic text, we've got the JetEngine service CTA lead. And then in the button, we've got the dynamic data is to the post URL. And the title is our JetEngine CTA button text. I'm going to work through and show you how to do this, but in this context here, each one of these is a post. So this would be the first post, second post, third post, returning the query. So the context of this dynamic data here is whichever post iteration it is currently on. But once we go to the click on one of these and go to the single post, the context of this page is that single post. All right, enough said with that. So let's go back to how this is done. So again, I'm using JetEngine. You can use Metabox, Pods, Toolset, whatever you use. Doesn't matter. ACF. I love JetEngine. I've used it for a long time. I love the fact that everything's in the one place. It's a nice, clean UI. So I'm going to demonstrate using this. So yesterday I created a post type of service. And what I've done differently, though, is not in yesterday's video. In this post type, I've added 4 meta fields. So I've got CTA heading, CTA lead, CTA button text, and CTA URL. These are all text imports except for the lead, which is a text area. And I'm just going to quickly show you on these settings in JetEngine. There's a bunch of stuff in here that you can do, field types, etc. One of the important things here is this enabling the quick edit support. So I've done that on each of these to show you what that means. And that's the only thing I've done. So very simply create a meta field and check the edit and quick support if you want that. In the admin columns, I've added a single box, which is my CTA heading, which is my slug here for the CTA heading. I've not made it sortable, which is, you can make it sortable just by flicking the switch here. I haven't added any admin filters, but you could do the same. If you want to filter based on this heading, you can add an admin filter for that as well. And that's all done from this CPT. This is what I really like about JetEngine. It's just all simple. Now, if you wanted these meta fields to be applied to multiple post types, instead of doing it on the CPT, you'd actually go into the meta boxes, you'd create some, like for example, page options here, create some meta fields, and then tell it what post types you want this to be on. So there's two ways you can add meta boxes to entities in WordPress with JetEngine, directly on the post type or using the meta boxes interface. This is a lot more flexibility if you're going to use it in multiple places. If you're only going to put specific meta fields to that one post type, you can do it directly on the CPT. Okay, so that is creating the meta fields. Now, what that does, if I have a look at my services here, so the admin field I've added here is my CTA heading, and that's my CTA heading there. Okay, you can put whatever you like along here that's going to help you identify what that post or service or whatever is all about. There's a lot of control there. If I turn the switch on, make it sortable, see we've got the sortable up here on the date, that would then become sortable as well. If we created a filter for the CTA heading, we would get a drop-down box up here where we can filter by whatever these headings are, or search, a text box where you can search by those filtered items. So again, one of the things I love about JetEngine is all in the one place. I'm not looking at different areas I've got to go into. I'm not looking at different plugins to do different things. It's all done with the one plugin. Okay. Now, so let's have a look at the quick edit. So if I look at a quick edit here, so we've got our typical WordPress stuff here. So we've got our CTA URL, CTA button text, our lead, and our heading, button heading. A button heading here and our CTA heading there. That's because I ticked the box for them to be in the quick edit support. So I can have stuff in there if it's things that are going to change a lot. Tick that box, then all you have to do is go into the list here, quick edit, change your settings, hit update. All right, really cool. Now, if you want to fully edit it, you go to edit here, goes to the Gutenberg editor, and there's all of your meta fields there. With JetEngine, you can arrange these into tabs and accordions and all sorts of stuff if you've got a lot of them. But we've just got 4 basic ones here, so we're just going to use these 4 here. Very simple, right? So I've done that already for each of these. So if I click on, say, service B, I've already put some stuff in there. So I've changed my button text, changed my heading, changed my lead, just left my URL as the pound symbol. Okay, and that's all done, ready to go. Now, if I have a look at one of these, so I'm going to look at my first one. So I should have this heading here, or you have to learn here, right? If I go view, all you have to learn here, and I've got a lead paragraph here, and I've got get started. Okay, if I go to the next one and view that. So you have freedom here, different lead paragraph, and it says buy now. So looking at these two, see that's the same section template on both pages or both singles, but it's got different information here. It's got different heading, different lead, different button text. If I wanted to go do something different, it'd have a bit different URL. They're both very different, and that's all done from those meta fields. All right, so that is the context there. So that is, again, the context of this metadata is this post, because we're on a post single, so that's the current post. All right, so that's when you're rendering it as a single template. Now, if we look at the page that I've created for that, oops. It's pulling the same metadata. So I've got here's my service block, where I'm querying my services, my heading. I'll just delete that and I'll just go CTA. So here's my CTA heading. Okay, maybe we'll put a box in there, another one. I'll just duplicate that box there, and we might make that our lead. CTA lead. So we get a heading and a lead. I've just changed it. Now we've got a heading, lead, button. All right, and this is the power of using custom post types in WordPress. Is that the other idea that the original author was looking at is creating separate pages for the services so that you can have the content styled differently for each service page, but have a common header and footer and call to action type layout. By doing it as a post rather than a page, you can now do a query loop here, and you can display cards, or you can display a list or buttons or whatever you like. They can link through to the post single. You could have something like facet filtering here. Like if you've got a lot of them, you might have some facet filtering. So with JetEngine, you can use Jet Smart Filters, or you can use Grid Builder, whatever you like. But let's say this was a travel agent website, and these are all travel plans or tours or whatever. And yeah, okay, on each of these, you want to have a different look to those because they've got different kinds of information. I don't think that'd be a smart move for a travel agent, but let's say you did. You can create the content with bricks. You can have the common heading, common footer. You might have your itinerary down the bottom here, your inclusions, exclusions, all that sort of stuff down in the bottom here. And this is just some photos, a gallery, some information that you put in there that you've created with bricks. So it's extremely powerful in the sense that you can have it as properly filterable, searchable posts that you can use in bricks query loops and output however you want them to output. And then you can link through to a single post and then display that same information in a very different way. I really love the way bricks have put this together. It gives you so much scope, so much flexibility. There's pretty much nothing that you cannot do with bricks that's possible to do with WordPress. So I'm impressed. I think this probably clarifies how you would use the dynamic data from that post or in that query loop or whatever you like. And it's all about context. So each one of these, the context of this data is that iteration. So each one of these is its own post. The context of a single is that you're looking at a single post, and the meta you're looking at here is for that single post. Hopefully that makes sense. If it does, please hit the subscribe, please hit the like. If it's not what you're looking for, if you're still confused, let me know in the comments of what you need clarifying. Thank you.